Okay, Shannon, should Lamar keep the job as the starter?
I believe so. Skip, they know what Joe Flacco is. They know what he's capable of doing. I do not believe Joe Flacco will be on this roster next season. You took Lamar Jackson in the first round for a reason. You traded back into the first round to take Lamar Jackson for a reason. And you don't take a guy in the first round with the anticipation of him staying 4 or 5 years on the bench. Those type of quarterback, that time is over, Skip. You know, there was a time you'd have a quarterback, you stash him away, Skip, and you know, 2 years. The Aaron Rodgers situation. No more. No more. It costs too much. It's just not cost effective. And you need to get the guy on the field to find out what he's capable of doing sooner rather than later. So I do not believe that Joe Flacco, if and when he comes back, he should be the starter. Because I don't believe Joe Flacco will be on this roster, as I said earlier, next year. And you need to get Lamar Jackson ready to play. And the only way he gets ready to play is by playing, Skip. And I know people like, you learn so much from sitting on the bench. Name the guy that sits on the bench and after the game say, you know what, I learned a lot today. Man, ooh, I know what I need to do now. And boy, when they put me in, I'm going to be ready to go. No, you get better. You get ready by playing.
Aaron Rodgers got better by watching.
No, he didn't, Skip. We don't know. Ain't no telling. He would just sped up that process. But we're not talking about Aaron Rodgers.
No, we're not.
See how you try to do that? Don't worry about it. Yeah, you're exactly right. And plus, Skip, he needs to get experience. Now, I know what John Harbaugh said. I know what Lamar Jackson said. No, bruh. You won't last a season carrying the ball that many times a game. 27 rushes, not Skip. That got skewed because 3 of them were kneel downs. But still 24. Now, the fact of the matter, a lot of those was a lot of those were called. Now, Lamar Jackson right now, where he is, he's in the very developmental stage of being an NFL quarterback. So if his first read is not there, Skip, guess what he's going to do? He's going to pull the ball down and run. That's not a call run. That's just where he is now as far as his maturation is throwing the football. So you want to scale that back. Michael Vick, who's one of the great dynamic runners of all time, the most times he's ever run the ball in a game was 15. Let that sink in.
By the way, he's going to join us a little later right here.
Go ahead.
You're not going to make a live. Marvin Lewis had a quote at the end of the game says, look, you can't run like that. Eventually they catch up with you, and eventually you'll get hurt. I think John Harbaugh understands that. Lamar Jackson understands that. But I thought he did a very good job considering, Skip, and he talked about it after the ball game. He says in college it was a lot of hand signals. Everybody looks to the sideline, the hand signals. Okay, everybody knew what to do. He said, that's not in the NFL. NFL, you call a play, and it's a long play. And then you get to the line of scrimmage, and you look at the defense, and if it's not the defense that you want against the play call, you have to audible into another long-ass play. And I thought he did a very good job, Skip, of doing that, but they made him comfortable. He's comfortable right now using his legs. But there will come a time, and all of them, the running quarterbacks had to go through this, be it Steve Young, Randall Cunningham, Mike Vick, John Elway. You must become proficient at throwing the football from the pocket.
You do.
Now, Skip, there was an incident that happened yesterday in the game, and I don't know if you didn't watch this game, but Vontaze Burfict, who has a history of being dirty, he was on the ground yesterday, and Marshall Yanda, the starting right guard, who's a very good player for the Baltimore Ravens.
He's a 6-time Pro Bowl player. Go ahead.
All pro. He spit on Vontaze Burfict. Now, NFL, if you're serious, you got to sit him down. You got to sit him down for a minimum of 1, possibly 2 games. Skip, this is as low as you can get. You don't get any lower than that. And Marshall Yanda, you being a white player and Vontaze Burfict being black, that is the ultimate of the ultimates. Next to being called.
Even though some players will say Vontaze had it coming, but not that.
Not that.
Yeah, I got it.
Next to calling him the end, that's the lowest you can do.
Agreed.
And if you spit on him, you might as well have called him that.
It was a big spit, too. It was a hanger. It sort of hung for a while and dropped.
And if, Troy, that's your genre. Troy Vincent, I'm talking to Troy Vincent. That's it. The punishment must be swift. It must be harsh.
I'm with you on that. That also points up just what a division rivalry this is. Anything Pittsburgh-Baltimore, Cincinnati-Baltimore. So you have to frame what Lamar Jackson was thrown into. That was a fire he got thrown into. I thought he played sensationally well, sensationally poised well, getting thrown into that fire, even though it was a home game. It's a hard game.
Yes.
And there's a lot he's having to process quickly that he's never had to process. To your point, And again, he definitely should keep the job because I don't know if you remember this, but before the season started, I thought they should have started him from game one. Not because I think Lamar's bound for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. That's to be determined somewhere out in the future.
Right.
It's just because I have seen enough of Joe Flacco, and I thought they had seen enough. Again, I cannot argue with Joe Flacco's post-game stats. They are all-time sensational. Postseason stats. 25 touchdowns to 10 interceptions, a record of 10-5. And after he did lead them to the one Super Bowl that they won, since then they have missed the playoffs 5 of 6 seasons. That will not fly, so to speak, for the Ravens in Baltimore, right?
Nope.
And he became the highest paid player in pro football off the Super Bowl. Then they re-upped him again and made him the highest paid again. And over the last 6 years, his QBR has been 55, an average of 55, which is right in the middle of the pack. And it's not good enough to be the highest paid player in pro football. It's not good enough when you've missed 5 of 6 playoffs. I thought that Lamar Jackson, as much as he needs to learn about throwing the football, could ignite that team with his arm and his legs and his playmaking. He's just got a spark to him that I loved at Louisville. This man with a football under his arm,
dynamic.
He is sensational. He is breathtakingly fast. I'm interested to see what Michael Vick will say about this when he joins us, but I think Lamar is a tick faster straight line down the field than Michael.
You think so?
Boy, I do. Well, I don't know. I know the Michael Vick experience. I'm talking about the Atlanta Vick.
Yeah. No, the Atlanta Vick ain't nothing. We've never seen anything like that, Skip. Because you got to realize when he came to Philly, Skip, he had just got out the.
Oh, I know that. I'm discounting all that.
Oh, no, the Michael Vick experience was
because
something unique.
Michael Vick actually turned into a very good throw of the football under Andy Reid in Philadelphia.
Yeah, the Michael Vick experience.
To this point, remember, they did enough more with his legs than his arm.
Correct.
Do not underestimate this young man. He's not a poor passer. No. He can be a decent NFL passer. It's not a pretty pass that comes out of his hand, but it comes out with velocity and decent accuracy. I know he got up to 59% his last year at Louisville. He got up to 27 touchdowns to 10 interceptions. He's going to throw a few interceptions. He's got he had one bad one yesterday after he made a defender miss in the backfield. But the point is, they let him run with the football. And what I do love about him, and not that I want to see him run 27 times, but he's got that self-preservation gene in him that RG3 never had.
Right.
He's got that sort of protect yourself instinct that RG3 never had. Lamar will get down and slide. He'll take his 8 or 9 yards and just get down. Lamar will run from trouble. RG3 never ran from trouble. He would run into trouble or try to run through trouble, which obviously you're just not going to last. So I thought he got away with 27 carries, the most in the Super Bowl era since 1966 by a quarterback. He got away with it, and I don't think he's that beat up today. I don't.
He's young, Skip. You know, when you're young, you can overcome things like that. It doesn't matter. But you can't sustain. Even running backs. Earl Campbell is the guy that comes to mind, Skip, that took this kind of 30
but running
carries.
Backs can't slide. I guess they could if they wanted to, but nobody would ever let them hear the end of it in the locker room, right?
But the 30 carries, 27. Because think about it, Skip. He had 27 rushes. Okay, that's skewed a little bit because of the 3 kneel down. But he got sacked twice. And then how many times did he get pushed down in which he didn't get sacked, in which he threw the ball? So he had to pick himself off the ground 30-plus times.
Not once in that game did I ever say, ooh, I don't know about that one. Like, I never thought he got tagged where he got...
Cumulative effect.
Okay, you could be right. But he did this at Louisville, and he was just fine. I'm knocking on wood for him.
They hit a little hard in college.
Well, I got that. Obviously, the Cincinnati Bengals are going to hit you harder in a rivalry.
Oh, yeah. They try. You keep trying to get enough shots on him. You're like, look, for that one clean shot, you're not trying to be dirty. But if I can get a clean shot on him, especially when he's running, Skip, he's a running back. He's a wide receiver. He got the ball. I don't look at number 8.
Yeah. So, to the Michael Vick question, Michael had much more make you miss, the side-to-side quickness, but I think Lamar, with the football under his arm, he might have a touch more speed and a touch more acceleration. I know it. I watched it.
Mike ran 4.33 at the combine.
I think this, I don't know what he ran at the combine. I'm just looking at what my eyes are telling me with football under arm. The acceleration is electrifying.
Well, you remember the overtime. The first time when Michael Vick burst became a household name in overtime against Minnesota. He split two defenders.
I know.
I mean, they got him sandwiched, and he comes out on the other side and hits his head on the goalpost. And that's when everybody's like, oh, my. We had never seen a quarterback that could do things like this with his feet. Now, we thought Randall Cunningham was special because Randall could run, but Randall was a long strider, would jump over you. Michael Vick just had, I mean, he had world-class speed at the quarterback position.
He did. Oh, he did. And yet Michael didn't have that self-preservation gene either. You know, that protection, like I'm going to avoid this. He took shots.
Yeah.
So I don't know. This is a special young man, and they should go forward with him. And again, he's going to have to do it unorthodoxly.
For the time being, until he learns. You know, the thing, what people will say, Skip, is that the Baltimore Ravens are in the 6th seed. So they're right in the playoff hunt. But the question that I've asked you this, playoffs right now or 5, 6, 7, 8 years of maturing this guy in multiple playoff runs? I believe you possibly sacrifice. And that's not to say they can't make a playoff push with Lamar Jackson in at quarterback. But I believe the long-term benefit of him playing now will serve them well down the road.
I just have a gut feeling. Joe Flacco, if he comes back, they will miss the playoffs. If Lamar keeps the job, they will make the playoffs. Now, can he go win a playoff game on the road? It'd be hard.
Right. But they have the defense that'll keep him in a lot of games.
They will. So I loved what he did as a playmaker. He just makes plays, arm and legs. And he made a difference yesterday.
Yep.
You guys mentioned that 4-3-3 for Michael Vick. Lamar, 4-3-4 at his pro day.
Right.
4-3-4.
I'm just going on my eye test.
I don't know about the pro day. Michael, pro day and combine, Skip, you know that's different.
Okay, fine.
What's
but either
different
way, it's
is
fast.
football underarm,
Yeah.
True. And the vision.
being chased.
But see,
right?
the thing is with Michael carried the ball in his hand like a loaf of bread. But at least Lamar got it up under his arm.
Can't
All
wait
right.
until he joins us later.
I know.
Yeah.
He's going to have a lot to say about that. But next up for us, the Saints.